Hey there, Wixman Ray here. Another day, man. Just another day. Anyways, so today is Thursday, April 9th, 2026. So time's just flying by. You know, when you get older, that's how it is. So you older people probably know that. So anyways, enough of that. We'll talk about the weather here. So yeah, it's getting a little more active, like I said. Like I mentioned over the past day or two. We got some on the satellite here. We're showing some showers and thunderstorms extending, especially pronounced over northern California, a little bit out into Nevada, northern Nevada. And then looks like there's some stuff out in parts of Colorado, a little bit of southern Wyoming. Also got some stuff down here in Texas and northern part of Mexico. So we got a disturbance down there and some instability going on. And of course, they got moisture coming off the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it nowadays. And then we got two low waves. So we got this first wave up here moving across the northeast with a little bit of rain coming down through parts of the northeast here, a little band of it with these clouds extending down through here, and then back up through say from Illinois into Iowa. We got some showers, thunderstorms, mainly over in Iowa. A little bit of part of eastern Nebraska, but they're starting to move out of that area. And then we've got a little bit of activity, showers and thunderstorms across this part of Nebraska down through Kansas. Some of these are severe. We got some ice. We got a couple of severe weather warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings out there. And these looks like some storms all the way down through West Texas, even a little bit into western or eastern New Mexico. So you're getting a little more active with thunderstorms. It's springtime. It's April. So yeah, so that's what's going on. A little bit of activity over northern Missouri here. We'll take a look at that on our radar overlaid with our surface observations. Okay. That's getting kind of busy with all those convective segments, so I think I'll take those off for today, so it's easier to figure out what's going on. So let's do something different. Let's start out here in the northeast. It's a little, so we got some rain up here, pretty warm, 65 in Syracuse, 58 in Buffalo. The coldest air is still back near Boston, 47, even JFK, so near the East Coast, some 40s, and 39 there, Bangor. Caribou's 47. So you got some colder air back here still. Not sure why it's so cold at JFK. Maybe that water's still a little chilly coming off the water there. So anyways, so yeah, so we got some rain, some showers coming through here. Nothing too big to write home about. More isolated as you go across southern Michigan, northern Indiana, and northern Ohio. Gets a little more concentrated as you go through northern Illinois and into Iowa. And it looks like Omaha area right on the eastern side. They're seeing some pretty stout thunderstorms. There might be a little bit of hail on that. I don't know. That's looking pretty impressive on the reflectivities. But yeah, they got some pretty decent looking thunderstorms. Mostly showers up here across northern Missouri, real spotty. And then across Kansas, it's real isolated. These are severe thunderstorm warnings, these boxes you're seeing, these orange boxes. So quite a few. You got 4 or 5 here across Kansas and even one up into Nebraska. And those are kind of more, as we call, discrete. Discrete means more isolated. So kind of discrete looking cells going down through into, near Dodge City and south of there. So there's some pretty decent thunderstorms. Back down here, this stuff don't look as impressive. There's a couple thunderstorms there near Amarillo to the east, or west of them actually, to the north and west. So a couple severe thunderstorm warnings out on those. But this stuff back here looks like just kind of showery, probably not a whole lot. This might be some thunderstorms back here in parts of New Mexico and West Texas, but nothing too severe out of that. So yeah, and as you can see, it's pretty warm out there. El Paso's 87. Deming, New Mexico. I've been there. If you're driven along I-10, you'll go through there. 87. So pretty warm out there in New Mexico. 79 in Albuquerque. So pretty warm across Texas, in the 80s, some 70s closer to the coast. You can see these showers and thunderstorms moving up, they get a little more concentrated near Austin and, just to the east of San Antonio, and then a little more isolated throughout the rest of the area, if they even have anything going on. Some stuff down there, the coastal area too, down there by Corpus Christi area. Yeah, so, oh, by the way, it's 6 o'clock, no, 6:15 Central Time, so it's, late afternoon, mid-afternoon, however you want to call it, out on the West Coast is 4:15. It's 7:15 out on the East Coast, so it's starting to get to be evening. The sun's starting to set out there, and that's why you saw on the satellite here why it was getting a little darker out here. So, sun's going down. So, yeah. So yeah, we won't go through everything. I mean, it's warm. It's a nice spring, warmish day, 70s and 80s throughout most of this part of the U.S. Down in Florida, 70s and 80s. The little bit, still a little bit of showery activity. It looks mostly like showers. I'm not seeing a lot of thunder. I mean, you go back on the satellite and it didn't look real. The cloud tops weren't real impressive here. Even if we go look, I'm not going to show you the IR, but they're not too impressive. So this is just kind of a rain shower type deal. I don't really think we're seeing much thunder out there today. So, a little bit of moisture coming off the Atlantic out there and bringing them some showers. So, but that seems to be on the downtrend as we go through Friday into the weekend, at least for Florida. Yeah. So, all the weather's kind of up in these two areas. I think I told you the first system was here. The second system's back here. It's kind of the main part of it's up in Canada, southern Canada, but we got a front that kind of moves out of here. And you got quite a bit of cloud cover too out over parts of the eastern Dakotas and Minnesota. So this is where the most storminess is right now, if you kind of quantify it, I guess. Through the Midwest, northern Midwest, however you want to say that is. But yeah, so that's going on up there. In fact, let's take a look up farther north. Yeah, they're getting some mostly rain. It looks like there could be on the northern edge maybe some rain snow mix or even snow by itself. Nothing too significant. Temperatures are in the mid 30s up there. So it's still chilly up there. Look at that. We got 30s and 40s back here. So that's where your cold air is right now and across the United States, at least the continental United States. We're not looking at Canada. I haven't looked up there in a while, but maybe we'll do that. We haven't done our weather around the world. Maybe I'll include them next time. I've been so busy, I've kind of gotten out of that habit, but we'll try to get back into doing that every so often. All right, I'm blabbering on here. So we're going to look at our forecast. So we'll start at, this is for the rest of tonight, going through about midnight. So for the next 6 hours or so. Yeah, so you still got this stuff out west here. This stuff will start going to bed, especially this stuff over Colorado and Nevada. Looks like it'll probably stay around most of the night through California. They got a little more upper level energy to keep it, at least showers going on, maybe still some thunder overnight. But yeah, so they're getting some welcome rains out there right now, and still got some activity down here across South Texas. And then this is that frontal system. So it looks like it gets a little more active tonight along this front, with some showers and thunderstorms. And yeah, and it looks like this system will start moving out of the area as we go into Friday. And then we still have this system, that little low we saw up in Canada. It looks like it's more of an upper level low supporting this frontal system. And then not too much for around Florida, maybe just a few lingering showers, but they'll go to bed tonight too. So let's just kind of look at it. Yeah, you see that in Texas, it kind of goes down during the morning hours, maybe a few showers. This front will slowly dip south through tomorrow morning, going through the Kansas City area. So they might get some showers, maybe a little bit of thunder, but nothing too crazy and wild, I don't think. But you never know. We got to keep an eye on this time of year for severe thunderstorms. And then the front kind of extends up into the northeast. So we got mostly rain coming through parts of the northeast through the Great Lakes. So. And then we still got this stuff out here, and it's going to kind of stay like this for a couple days out here across the west for the foreseeable, at least through the weekend. I'm not going to go past, I'll just go through Monday on this forecast because it stays pretty active even into next week, it looks like, for at least for thunderstorm activity and stuff like that, especially out across the plains and stuff. So it's going to be a multi-day event of, at least a chance of thunderstorms or severe. So, yeah, so this is Friday. So they'll get reignited during the afternoon and evening, and it'll dip south into southern Missouri and through Oklahoma and southern Kansas. Still got that stuff across the Rockies here, just kind of isolated type stuff, even down through parts of New Mexico. And then, more concentrated out here across western Nevada and northern California. And then we still got the front bringing rain across the northeast and down through here. And so, but we'll show you the convective outlook at the end. And it's still, yeah, you see it. Looks like it becomes increasingly stormy across at least the eastern half of Texas over here as we go into Friday. So that'll be showers and thunderstorms. So we go into Saturday, kind of the same story. Yeah, it gets real active. We get a little more energy out here. So this is that threat area for severe. And we'll take a look at that for Saturday, especially across West Texas. But it looks like we'll have like at least showers, maybe even some thunderstorms up through from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, the whole 9 yards down through the Central Plains here, and Missouri and Kansas, so Oklahoma. So this whole area looks like it's going to be a little wet going into the weekend. Same deal out here, a little more, looks like a little more widespread for showers, and it starts to cool a little bit as we go through the weekend out here too. And the rain continues for at least the northern half of California, so I'm getting some welcome rains. Looks like maybe some high elevation snow out there. So for the weekend. All right, so this is going into Sunday morning. So we got this. This will be another this isn't really a front. It's more of what we would call a trough, a surface trough or upper level trough. So this will shift the focus on Saturday. Whoops, sorry about that. Saturday it'll shift. It'll start, or Sunday, I should say. It's going to shift the thunderstorm focus to the east, across central and east Texas, eastern Oklahoma, out through Kansas City, and up through parts of Iowa. So this area will be under the gun, and we'll take a look at that. We'll see what the Storm Prediction Center says about that. And we still got all this going on out here on Sunday across the west, mainly Oregon, Nevada, and California. Looks like some high elevation snows, so don't be surprised to see more snow up in the mountains, which is good. They had a low snowpack this year, so they'll anything they can get, helps a little bit anyways. And then, we still got all this rain, probably some thunderstorms back this way across the Great Lakes and towards the New York area. And that looks like that's developing into what we call a warm front. A little bit of a cold front, maybe, but not really. This is more of just a trough type. There's not a lot of cold air back behind this. So, yeah, that's just not how this pattern is set up. So that'll progress east on Sunday night. And then as we go into Monday, it looks like it reloads out here for parts of Texas, parts of eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, and maybe, let's see, yeah, and then even out here into the Central Plains. So more showers and thunderstorms possible, and then a little more organized as you get up towards, Wisconsin and Michigan. So at least in the way of showers, I think it won't be a lot of thunderstorms up this far north. This doesn't look like the right setup. Going back to the west, you saw this shifts inward and kind of weakens, but we still got some rain and high elevation snow on Monday across at least the northern half of the West, you know, Utah, Nevada, Idaho, Montana, parts of Colorado. So, yeah, so that's what's going on there through Monday. We won't cover it after that. But I will show you one more thing before we sign out here, because I'm not going to get too in depth on the temperatures and whatnot. So this is for tonight. Um, so we got a slight risk for, you know, near St. Joseph, Missouri, down through that southeast corner of Nebraska, and kind of northern, northeast Kansas. So, and then outline kind of a more marginal risk. So this whole area could see a couple severe thunderstorms, and we're already seeing those out in Kansas. We saw that earlier as we were looking at the radar, but so that'll continue through the night. They should probably weaken as we go into the overnight hours. Um, got a little bit of marginal risk out here near that low pressure, parts of Oregon and Northern California. So there's a little bit of a tornado risk up here. So keep an eye on that. Definitely a wind risk. It looks like a little wind risk out west. Maybe a little bit of hail risk out there too, and that stuff in California and Oregon. Yeah, so all modes of severe possible, especially in that, you know, that highlighted area that we saw out here where it's orange or yellow. So that's for the rest of tonight through the morning hours. As we go into tomorrow, it looks like not quite as strong. The front becomes a little more, you know, east to west. So northern Oklahoma, parts of, you know, the panhandle of Texas, southern Canada, not Canada, Kansas, and then parts of, you know, these parts out here near Springfield, Missouri, or and in Joplin, Missouri, and then northwest Arkansas. So let's see, I got not a really low tornado threat. Looks like more of a wind and hail threat down there. So that's for Friday. So it doesn't look too rough and tumble for Friday, but there still might be a few. A little more active as we go into Saturday, mostly across West Texas. That's where the best risk. But even up into Kansas, parts of, even up near Omaha, you know, into Nebraska. So Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and West Texas, eastern New Mexico, they're under the gun tomorrow. So watch out for that. They don't break it down on day 3. And then after that, man, it's just day after day. I mean, let's take a look here. So day 4. So here, so on day 4, we're looking at, you know, parts of Texas, you know, say DFW area, Oklahoma City, and south central Kansas. So that's for Sunday. Monday, we're looking at, you know, a good part of the northern and central plains from, you know, North Texas, Oklahoma, eastern side of, not eastern, western side of Arkansas, good part of Missouri, up through Kansas and Nebraska. Iowa will be right in the center of it. So that was on Sunday, sorry. And then that's what Monday looked like. So threat in the same general area, it kind of, you know, tilts over this way. But and then look at that. That's like, so this is like Wednesday. So they go out all the way through Wednesday. They're pretty confident that we're going to see like a repeat of, you know, it'll vary on the location. It may shift a little east or west, but yeah, so all the way from, you know, starting, especially this weekend. I mean, there'll be a threat today and tomorrow, but yeah, it looks like a pretty good threat going through the weekend and early next week. So it's going to get a little more active here for the, and it looks like that pattern, what they call that upper level southwest flow with little troughs, waves, and, you know, energy going through the atmosphere is going to help, you know, get those thunderstorms going a little bit stronger. So anyways, that's kind of what's going on here. I'm sticking with my story. Anyways, hey, I appreciate y'all. Wixman Ray out.